the present moment healer. In a quiet village nestled among rolling hills, there lived a skilled healer named Sita. She was known far and wide for her knowledge of herbs, potions, and remedies. People came to her for treatments for ailments both physical and emotional. Whether it was a fever, a sprained ankle, or a broken heart, Sita always had the right medicine to ease their suffering. However, despite her vast knowledge and ability to heal others, Sita herself carried a deep, invisible pain. Years ago, she had lost her beloved brother in a tragic accident, and since that day, her heart had never healed. The sorrow she felt was like a wound that refused to close. She tried to bury her grief in her work, but no matter how many herbs she used, how many potions she brewed, or how many people she helped, she could not seem to find peace within herself. One day, after tending to yet another patient, Sita sat alone by the river near her home, feeling the weight of her sadness. The sound of the flowing water and the gentle rustling of the leaves in the breeze provided a brief moment of peace, but the deep sorrow in her heart remained. It was then that a traveling monk, who had been walking through the village, stopped to rest near the river. Seeing Sita, he sat beside her, offering a gentle smile. "You seem troubled, my friend," the monk said. "Is there something weighing on your heart?" Sita sighed deeply. "I am a healer, but I cannot heal my own heart. I have treated so many others, and yet my own grief remains. No matter what I do, I cannot seem to find peace from the sorrow of losing my brother. I thought that by helping others, I could heal my own wounds, but nothing works." The monk listened attentively and then spoke with kindness. "Healing is not always about finding the right medicine, Sita. Sometimes, it is not the body that needs to be healed, but the mind and heart. Have you ever tried to simply be present with your emotions, without trying to fix them?" Sita was puzzled. "What do you mean? I am a healer, I know how to treat pain. But my own heart, I don't know how to heal it." The monk smiled gently. "Let me show you. Instead of trying to push away your grief or drown it in work, try to sit with it. Breathe deeply and allow yourself to feel the sadness fully. Don't try to fix it or change it, just be with it, without judgment or resistance. By being present with your emotions, you may discover a healing that medicine alone cannot provide." Sita was skeptical but willing to try. She had nothing to lose. So, with the monk's guidance, she closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She allowed herself to sit quietly, focusing on her breath and letting go of any thoughts of fixing her grief. Slowly, she brought her attention to the sadness in her heart. Instead of avoiding it or trying to bury it, she simply acknowledged it, letting the sadness wash over her without resistance. At first, the pain felt overwhelming. Her chest tightened, and tears began to form in her eyes. But the more she breathed and allowed herself to feel the grief, the more she noticed a subtle shift. The grief didn't disappear, but it began to lose its sharpness. It was no longer a wound that demanded to be fixed, it was just a feeling, passing through her like a storm cloud moving across the sky. She realized that by sitting with her emotions, she was no longer fighting them, and in that acceptance, there was a strange peace. The monk watched in silence, and when Sita opened her eyes, he spoke softly. "You see, Sita, when we are mindful and present with our emotions, we give them space to heal themselves. By resisting or running away from them, we prolong our suffering. But when we sit with our feelings, accepting them without judgment, we begin to release their hold over us. Healing doesn't always require fixing, it requires presence." Sita's heart felt lighter, as though a burden had been lifted, even if just for a moment. She understood now that healing wasn't always about finding the right cure, but about allowing oneself to be with the pain, to experience it fully without fear or avoidance. As days passed, Sita continued to practice mindfulness, sitting quietly with her grief whenever it arose. She no longer saw her emotions as problems to be solved, but as experiences to be lived. And as she did this, she noticed something incredible. Her heart began to heal, not because the sorrow was gone, but because she had stopped resisting it. She had allowed herself to feel the pain, and in doing so, she found peace. One day, a villager came to her for help with a broken heart. Sita welcomed them and gently guided them through the same mindfulness practice the monk had shown her. As the villager sat with their pain and began to breathe, Sita realized that this was the true art of healing, not fixing the wound, but helping others find peace in the present moment, in the space between their thoughts and emotions. From that day forward, Sita became not just a healer of the body, but also a guide to the heart. She helped others understand that sometimes the greatest healing comes not through medicine, but through the simple act of being present with what is, allowing ourselves to experience life as it comes, without judgment, and finding peace in the present moment. Moral of the story: healing is not always about fixing what is broken. Sometimes, the greatest healing comes from simply being present with our emotions, acknowledging them without resistance, and allowing ourselves the space to experience them fully. Mindfulness can help us find peace even in the midst of pain, and through acceptance and presence, emotional wounds can begin to heal. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.